I knew I wanted to work with galleries and museums when I left uni, and that I felt the museum should be a more sensory space. When I'm looking at a painting, I really think, I wonder what this tastes like or smells like or feels like. Thinking of ways to translate that into experiences is something that comes quite naturally. My name is Tasha Marks. I run a creative practice called AVM Curiosities that looks at the crossover between art and the senses, whether that's taste, smell or sound. So I did art history at university, and Sussex University, where I went, is partnered with the V&A Museum. So depending on what curators are free, our final year subjects will change. My year happened to be the silverware curator at the V&A, and she taught us food history, and it just changed everything that I was interested in. So it is a bit of a funny one to explain. It leads to interesting conversations and taxis on the way home. For me, inspiration always starts with reading through research. If I've got a subject that I'm working on, I would tend to buy a few books around that, and sort of, for me, that physicality of the book is still quite important. Even if I don't read it from cover to cover, having that physical object and I can flick through, get ideas from, and then again that will sort of take me off on a tangent is quite important. And also just, picking up skills. I call it tooling up, is always really good to sort of get new skills, and then that will open up new possibilities. When it comes to ideas, a bit of blue sky thinking is a good thing. And then later on is only when I have to think about, can I actually make this happen? But some of the things that I've got to do where I didn't know if it was possible have been some of my favourite projects, because not knowing if it can be done or trying to think of ways to almost problem solve then leads you to different avenues that I wouldn't have gone down otherwise. A project I did in 2017 at the V&A called Alabaster Ruins is one of my favourites. I was thinking about fragments and relics and how we worship the sort of things that are left behind. And I got to work with the V&A collection and scan different objects in the V&A museum. And in inverting them, I made them into moulds, and I then cast that using a 17th century sugar plate recipe. So for me, that mixture of the old and new was something I was really excited about. New technologies, older techniques. And again, the fact that it was made from sugar was part of the story. These were transient ruins, and like culture, unless you look after it, it would rot and disappear. But it's also a natural preservative. So it becomes a sort of symbol. For me, that project was a sort of perfect mix of storytelling and technique and new ideas. And I was really proud of what I made in the end. I love reactions from the public when they come and see the work. It's always very varied and mostly positive in a great way. I think food, I think smell, these are things that really break down boundaries, especially in a museum environment where even if you're a seasoned sort of culture vulture and you go to that sort of thing a lot, there's weird sort of expectations on behaviour. Do we speak quietly? Are we allowed to touch that? What are we allowed to do? And so when you add taste, or when you add smell, when you add sound, you're somewhat breaking down those boundaries. It's sort of allowing people to express themselves in a way. But if there was a massive sign that said, "Smell me," people would do it. In a way, you don't want that. You want to engage with that curiosity and that sense of discovery. When I started AVM Curiosities, I definitely didn't imagine it being where it is now. I've taken detours into different areas of history, through different types of performance, through different senses even. I mean, when I started it was pretty solely about taste, but it has now evolved into getting to work with other chefs, or I've been training as a perfumer, so now working with scent predominantly really. So I'm never quite sure where things are going to go. So it's always been learning through experience and through doing. I've never had a plan of action or know what is going to happen next. Again, I feel my job is so unusual that I would never have been able to guess that I'd be doing half the things that I'm doing now. It never gets old being able to work in these spaces or be there after hours or have access to archives or any of those things. I hope that this is my career for life, really, is my ultimate ambition. Whatever that brings, we shall see.